Welcome members, and thank you for tuning in. Coach Derek and Coach Zeke here, bringing you a foundational health habit, making time and setting appointments with yourself. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to tune in regularly for your next health habit. If you incorporate these things into your daily routine, we are confident you'll become a healthier and happier version of yourself.
Members, let's talk about our first foundational health habit, making time and scheduling appointments with yourself. We all do this day in and day out. We set doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, and we take our kids to their sports. So what we're asking you to do is treat the time for yourself the exact same. Make that appointment and then don't miss it.
Everyone is busy, but we're gonna make time anyway. We're asking you to change your relationship with "I'm busy," because we all know someone who is always busy, right? But consistent action over time is what's going to create that change that you're looking for and that you desire. It's perfectly okay to start with shorter term actions, such as, a shorter workout that eventually you can get into the mode and feel like working out once you already start going, right? It's kind of like only going to your job or working when you feel like it, right? It's not gonna get you very far at the end of the day.
So what we're asking you to do is build on these foundational habits one after another. We've asked you to take 5 minutes of daily action that moves you towards your goal. Now we're gonna ask you to build on that. By creating an appointment this week, it can be, I'm gonna do 3 30-minute workouts, or I'm gonna meditate for 5 minutes in addition to my daily 5-minute activity every single day. Or you can even visit with a part of your community that helps and supports you moving closer to a happier, healthier version of yourself. Here's an example of how making time and setting appointments help these people. Members, now we're going to talk about what you should think about when creating a movement or a workout program for yourself. The first thing is do you move well? What does it mean to move well? All human bodies move in prime patterns, but we may not move super well, or a specific movement might not be for us. So you need to figure out what works for you and then still challenge yourself within that movement where you can move well. The second thing is, are you pain-free when doing that movement? There's a lot of this, you have to be tough when you're in a gym or working out. And yes, you do have to challenge yourself, but you should never experience pain. In the event that you experience pain when participating in a workout or an exercise program, stop. You need to modify or adjust that movement so that you can be pain-free while still challenging yourself. The third thing is we want difficult things to seem easy. All human bodies move in prime patterns. So everyone can do a squat, for example, but the way that I squat is gonna be different than the way you squat. But we can all figure out a way to do that appropriately for our goals and then make it a little bit more challenging. The last thing that you need to be thinking about is there enough variation? Do you have enough ups and downs that you can move towards your goal, but still recover appropriately and still be challenged appropriately? And sometimes you can make modifications to do that. And with that variation, you don't want to be locked into any specific movement pattern to accomplish a goal. You want to have as many options as possible to accomplish a physical task.
So here's what you want to be thinking about when you're doing exercise or moving. First of all, you want to focus on movement quality. It does you no good to do 1,000,000 reps that are extremely low quality or have no form or function to them. Secondly, take into mind your mental conditions, right? So how are you feeling today? Did you sleep last night? Is there anything that would be getting in your way from giving 100% effort on the movement or exercise that you're trying to complete? And then thirdly, you want to have a high variability and a strong foundation. So it doesn't make sense to go and squat 500 pounds if your goal is just to look and feel better for your family and maybe have more energy to be with your spouse. And then lastly, you want to figure out your why and keep that in mind when you're creating and doing your program.
Now we're gonna show some poor quality movements. So Coach Zeke is gonna do a couple reps of a hip hinge movement where his back is rounded, he's not controlling the weight, he's moving a little too fast. So this would not pass the test of moving well. Now what we're gonna have Coach Zeke do is pull his shoulder blades back and give us a good movement here. He's very controlled, he's controlling the weight, everything is in order, and he's not overemphasizing anything. There's a big stretch on his hamstrings here, and he comes up and he pulls the hips through. He may be overarching just a little bit, but this is a good example of good quality movement. There's no pain here. If Zeke had pain in his lower back or anything here, we would adjust this movement or we wouldn't do it. Now, this is an easy movement for Coach Zeke. If we wanted to make this harder or more challenging, we can increase the weight of the dumbbells, we can increase the number of repetitions that he does, or we could give him a barbell or give him a different mode of doing this movement. And then lastly, we would always want to train some variability within this movement for Coach Zeke. Okay guys, now Coach Zeke is gonna perform some low quality push-ups or upper body pressing movements. You can see that he's not controlling his hips, his head is all over the place. He's doing a lot of stuff that we wouldn't call this moving well. Here, he's doing partial range of motion. And you can use partial range of motion sometimes, but most of the time we want full range of motion. So now we'll have Coach Zeke perform a good rep. All the way down, everything is controlled, hips are tight, all the way back up. And at no point in this movement is Coach Zeke losing control of the movement. So he's controlling all the way down and all the way back up. For some good movement, it's pain-free, and we can add some variability in this. We can change his hand position, we can move how fast and slow he goes up and down. And this would be an example of good movement. And he could pair these two movements together to create a workout.
Thank you, members, for tuning in. We appreciate you checking out our foundational health habit. Be sure to make time for yourself and even set appointments with yourself when it comes to the things that are a priority to you.
And if you guys enjoyed today's foundational health segment, tune in for the next segment where we're going to talk about mindfulness, slowing down, and how those things can help you.